Welcome back, everybody. So we are still doing the world tour of my Let's Play world, and today we're going to start at the Hidden Canyon and then make our way south all the way over to the Guardian Farm. From there we'll keep moving west onto the swamp and then to what I'm calling Faro Gulch. From the gulch we'll continue to move west across the plains, swerve south to avoid the mountains, and then into the woods, into the Lansing tunnels. So coming out of the tunnels, we're going to cross the plains until we reach the pit. And then west from the pit, we cross the desert until we reach the oasis and the desert temple a little bit to the south of that. Leaving the temple, we head back into the desert and finally reach the city on the edge of the desert. And then lastly, we'll finally go down to the coast where we'll see a small seaside colony and the lighthouse. We're going to start our tour here, leaving the smuggler's hideout, and we're going to follow this road all the way down until we get to the Guardian Farm. This Guardian Farm was built relatively recently. That was back in January of 2020. And I really started the project just because I wanted to use a bunch of the sea lanterns that you can get from the farm in my Ocean City build that we were building just before the world tour. I didn't really follow a specific design from anybody. I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos and really just kind of got the idea of what needed to be done. So I just went ahead and cleared out everything around the monument, giving it plenty of space. And then added this angular building on top of it with this funny looking roof. I just wanted to give it a unique look, and I think I accomplished that. So I wanted to give the farm kind of a mysterious, hard to access air about it. So I built this pair of docks, I got the one at the end of the road, and then we got this another dock going to this tiny little island, which is where I put my work and storage house here. And that gave me a good base to start clearing out the farm and getting ready to build everything. Heading inside, we're going to find this very large storage area. Got another portal on the opposite side of the room. And I can barely read that, but it looks like the day is 17/132. So to keep that in contrast, compare that to Hunter's Canyon, the Smuggler's Base we were just at. That was founded in 3770. So heading on up in here to the top area, we're going to have this little work area, lots more storage, and then we got a bed, and then I've got a little armor stand over here with all my aquatic armor that I use when clearing out the monument. So as you can see, the farm is working very well still, and from up here you can really see that V-shaped roof that I put on the place, and then get an idea of how the water transfer works to scoot those guardians into the drop chamber. So if we continue on all the way down underneath here, we have another big storage room, and then along the back side of this we all have these item hoppers, so we sort all the items into all the different chests so we can control our inventory. I did try and cram as many chests in this place as I could because there are quite a few drops coming from that Guardian Farm, but I still had to try and keep it open and airy, and I think I did accomplish that. So over here I have the switch which will activate the door, which will lead us down into the actual farm. I'm very happy with how this door came out. It looks kind of cool, I think. It took a lot of time to work out the timing of all these pistons and get them everything correct, but in the end I think the result was worth it. If we follow these stairs all the way down, down, we have a few levels here, and then we will come out here into the killing chamber. So the guardians are washed over into this hole and dropped all the way down from the top, where they're going to fall and die on this hopper floor, and then all their drops are going to be collected and routed down underneath to this other level. We're going to have there's a long hopper chain, goes all the way around to the dropper system, and that spins around here and shoots all the drops all the way back up to the top where the storage system was we just saw. So heading back up to the top here, I am so happy with the way that door came out and how it closes. It's really smooth. Okay, let's head on outside here and get a closer look at this farm. So you get a good idea here what happens when you convert a complete monument and all the way around it into a farm. It gives you a tremendous number of guardians very, very quickly. And then you end up with a ton of drops. It was almost overwhelming for my hopper system. So now it is time to leave the Guardian Farm and head out back onto the road. So we're going to head out here across the plains and head down and around and over into this nearby swamp. That's so odd. That sand dune over there looks like a pyramid was built, but it's actually just natural terrain generation. So if we take up to an overview here, sailing over the land, we're going to see the swamp, and you get a good look at the rest area and all the stuff around it. So the first stop we have here is going to be what I'm calling Faro Gulch. Looks like I went through here and marked it off back in 3306, probably as I was traveling through. It's actually not much of a gulch, just a little small depression in here, but having to cross over it impressed me enough to actually give it a name. And I think the gulch actually got its name because I had to build a rest area over here, which is called a Faro Rest Area. It's a very simple, basic build. We just got our bed, a little bit of storage, and a little place to store my horse. You know, I've not found any recordings of me building this or a lot of this stuff, but I believe it would be back in early 2015 when I made the original trip south, which would be actually 5 years before the Guardian Farm we just looked at was built. Heading westward out of the swamp, we are going to go straight across these plains and right into a giant mountain, which actually forced me to take this swing to the south to go around, and then that takes me directly into this birch forest, running all the way around the river until we hit some more hills. It was about this time I decided just to start tunneling directly through the mountain because I couldn't go around it anymore. So I called this tunnel the North Lansing Tunnel. And looking at the date, 3244 is actually earlier than the Faro Rest Area date. My memory is a little hazy from 5 or 6 years ago, but I believe what I did is make the initial run south on my horse, going past the guild house and into the woods and stuff there. And then when I was coming back, I came this other way, and that's when I built a lot of the roads and houses and stuff all the way back up to spawn. So the road continues a little way aroundward, and we're going to reach the next tunnel. I really like the design of this tunnel with all those torches going along the walls. It makes it really bright and cheery too. Along the inside of the tunnel, we come to one of the many rest areas I have on this trip. Every time it started to get dark, I built another rest area. Pretty plain, boxy here, nothing fancy to look at. So this last tunnel here is labeled South Lansing Tunnel. And it looks like it was built about 10 days before we built the North Tunnel. So we're breaking free from the hills and the forest and moving out here across the plains until we reach this very funny shaped oval canyon, which I ended up calling the Pit. It's really different than a lot of the other canyons and valleys you see in the game. It's kind of really shallow and just sort of fat. It's really unusual, so I thought it was worth tagging. And another thing you're never going to see in the current game is this water block glitch. So from the pit, we are going to keep heading west and west until we reach the large desert. We follow the main road around here until we're going to swing a bit southward and then follow this one path over to this buried temple. So aside from being a little unique by being halfway buried in the sand, the temple is also the house of a zombie spawner right here at the surface. Now inside here we got the basic work and storage area and stuff, and right on the other side of this wall is the spawner. Heading down this set of stairs with the scary drop off is where we have the zombies fall to, so I can go down there and collect the XP. The spawner is way up there, 20 blocks. You can't see, but it's a very simple drop trap. Back up top now, we head back along this road to the main highway. And we are going to get over here to this oasis rest area. So the rest area has a well and this tiny little house, really just for sleeping the night away and make sure you don't get eaten by monsters in the darkness. Swooping over across the desert here, we are going to reach the walled desert city. So this started off as a very simple desert village, and then I just started expanding it. First adding the wall of protection so the mobs won't come in there, and then adding other buildings like the apartment buildings and the church and stuff. You know, I tried to keep it looking like a Minecraft desert village would have been if it had expanded into a very large city, and trying to get everything to fit together. And then at the back, I figured we needed an animal pen to give the city some food. Heading into the city, we're going to pass through the big wall, which actually has a little path that runs all the way on the inside of it. And then we get in here to the main city. I forgot I actually gave the city an actual name. This was way back in, 3052. So that's January 2015 from what I can figure out. So you can see it's a very vibrant city. Lots of villagers everywhere. Some golems walking here and there. I'm not sure if we have all the villagers here because of all the beds, which is probably a good idea, but there was also a lot of over-villager and over-golem spawning when they did some villager revisions around this time. So over here we have a mason shop. And then over here we have a place to store valuable stuff. And then over here is one of the typical apartment buildings, multi-storied and all. So many of these apartments are multi-story. But I'm not even sure if the villagers can get up all these ladders to get to all the beds I have on them. Yeah, from up here you get a really good look around the city. All the different types of buildings we have, the church. The church is completely different style, but I thought it actually worked for a church. And over there we have the city center with all the villagers running around doing whatever villagers like to do. Well, the sun is setting, so I better get some sleep and then we can finish up this tour. I'm not going to make you go into all these buildings. I just want to tour a couple of the outstanding ones. So let's get started over here with the church. Small little chapel here, just a few pews. Got the pulpit here sporting the nice new lectern. Got that great chandelier up there and all the stained glass. So that looks pretty good from the inside here. So taking a look at the back of the church here, you get a really good look at that stained glass window, which I think goes well with the build. And if we go in this little door here, we go all the way down into the crypt underneath the church. So I've got everything here with bottom half slabs, so we don't have any spawning. I can keep it dark and creepy as possible. And then I've got all these coffins here filled with bones and armor and whatever else you have for dead bodies. The only thing missing on any of the coffins is the names of anybody. I didn't put names on anybody. I should have done that. And a few of these guys are really big. I don't know if they're giants or what. So under this building here, going down, we have this makeshift tree farm. Right now it looks like it's got a bunch of oaks. Really it's just a tall room to plant trees because I didn't have much room in the desert to do that. And I added a sugarcane farm and stuff. It kind of runs into this underground canyons. So all along the back wall here, we have all this multi-story apartment buildings. And if we head outside through this protective door, we will get to our animal farms. So we have our chickens, and we had some sheep, and we have lots of cows running all over the place. In this building we have our blacksmith. Nice open space. We have our furnaces, we have our forge, have an anvil. So all along the top of the wall we have a number of apartment buildings. So we get access into the top of each building, so we get the upper apartment, and each one has a nice view of the surrounding desert area. So if we head out the front gates here, we are back into the desert. And then following along this simple little road, you can see way in the distance the lighthouse, and that is going to be the final stop on this leg of our tour. So when I first came down here on the walkabout riding my horse, just looking for what I could find, this was the end of the road. I ran into the ocean, couldn't ride any further, so said, here we go. I'm going to start an outpost, and since we were on the ocean, I thought putting a lighthouse would be a great thing to do. Yeah, so we only got a couple buildings here, and we'll start with this one. This one goes with a savanna style color scheme, like a savanna village, with the acacia and stuff. Just a small storehouse. We have a yard out back with some pumpkins and stuff, but nothing exciting. So over here we have our main workshop, and this is what I style the basic traditional Minecraft design. Just the stone, oak, some cobblestone. And inside it's very basic. Bed, storage, pictures. And finally we come to the lighthouse. Got it sitting right here on the edge of the ocean. I used a lot of diorite and granite to get that red and white striped look that you see on a lot of traditional lighthouses. And I've got it sitting out here just on top of this tiny little island. It's actually perfect. It was already there. I didn't have to build it or anything. The inside of the lighthouse is very, very open. Made lots of tall sections, probably 3 or 4 tall floors, and very sparse. Just got some storage boxes stashed on each of the sides here, a little anvil, but I tried to keep it mainly open space so it's nice and airy. Second floor here is just a sleeping area. We got a platform with a bed, and not much else. If we follow the ladder up here, it's going to take us up to the top here where we can actually get a good look on the outside. Got this tiny, somewhat unsafe ledge, but we can walk all the way around and get a good view of the area. And then in the middle here we got this one ladder. It goes all the way up to the top of the tower, which will be the light part of the lighthouse. Not much more there than a bunch of torches to light everything up. No redstone, nothing fancy, none of that kind of stuff. And that wraps up today's leg of the world tour. We covered a lot of stuff today, but I'm trying to be as comprehensive as possible so you kind of get a look at everything I've put into the world. Next time we are going to actually head out across that ocean and see what we have down there. I hope you are all enjoying this world tour, and I welcome you back to see the next episode. Until then, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.